Good morning. Today we're going to talk about dumb dogs that cannot bark. Yeah, we're still talking about the watchman in the tower. We're talking about our responsibility to watch for those and ourselves who God has called us to. We're the watchmen, but we got too many watchmen that are blind and can't see, and watchmen who are dumb dogs that cannot bark. Y'all get ready. We're going to have a great discussion in this 5 minutes to live by. That's right. Just 5 minutes to live by with Pastor Will. We would love for you to subscribe to our podcast at victoriouspraise.org/podcast. And those of you that are watching us live, if you want to share and tag someone, we would certainly appreciate that. And feel free to comment as we get started with our talk today. So this talk is based upon Habakkuk having questions and needing answers. And his response was interesting. He didn't go away. He didn't say there is no answers. He said in Habakkuk, he said, I will stand upon my watch and set me up on the tower and will watch to see what he will say unto me and what I will answer when I am reproved. The watch here is literally about getting answers from God. It is getting a vision from God. God says, for I know the plans. A vision is a plan. It's a set of instructions. It's not just what you see, but it's how you get to what you see. And God has plans for our lives. And God is talking. He's speaking to us. The problem is that in order to make it, in order to be protected, in order to get instructions, in order to get warnings, we must watch. Watch ye therefore, for you know not the day nor the hour when he shall appear. And so the Bible says God called us to watch. Ezekiel 3:17, Son of man, I have made thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. Whoever you are, I tell all of my prayer warriors, I said, you have the assignment to watch for your family, to watch for your marriage, to watch for your children, to watch for your ministry, for your job, for your calling, for your business, for your church. But we have a problem because Isaiah said his watchmen are all blind. They are ignorant. Blind there is not about your eyes, because the Bible says they have eyes, but they cannot see. It is about your knowledge. My people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. God said, I will give you pastors after my own heart, and they will give you wisdom and knowledge. It is the role of the prophet, the role of the pastor to see, to get the knowledge to the people. Now, some of them are blind. They can't see a thing. They can't see it. You can see it. I can see it. Stevie Wonder can see it, but they can't see it. Stop, Pastor Will. But then the Bible goes on here in Isaiah and says, they are all dumb dogs. They cannot bark. They are dumb dogs. They cannot bark. A role of a dog, a guard dog, a watchdog is to see danger and then bark as a warning, because the Bible lets us know that warning will come before there is destruction. And so if you have a blind person in your watchtower of your life, that ain't gonna do you any good. If you have a dumb, that is a mute, a person who will not speak, who cannot speak in your watchtower, that ain't gonna do you any good. Here, when we talk about not being able to bark, it is not that there's something wrong with their voice. There's something wrong with their ability, or something wrong with their willingness, if you will, to speak what God said. To speak and say and tell. Listen, I have nothing to do with what people do with the bark, but it is my job to bark. I tell God has called me to deal with marriage, to deal with relationships, to deal with families, to deal with, well, does that mean that everybody in your ministry is successful? No. My job is just to bark. It is your job to do something about the bark. And those of you who are watchmen and watchwomen, your job is to bark. Whether or not the people respond to it, that's going to be up to them. But you don't want their blood on your hands because you didn't bark, because you were either blind and could not see or dumb and could not bark. Why do watchmen not bark? The Bible says they are all dumb. And here dumb is referring to the inability to say something. And if you have a mouth and you won't speak, what is going on here? The Bible says pride goes before destruction and a haughty spirit before a fall. Pride keeps people from opening their mouth. They're embarrassed. They're ashamed about what maybe they're going through. How dare you speak about something when you're going through the same thing? So they want you to be embarrassed and be ashamed. But you know what? I am not ashamed of the gospel of Jesus Christ. I need y'all to hear me right now. I will not be ashamed of what God called me to do. I may fall, but I'm going to get back up and I'm going to tell you what God said. Another thing that keeps people from talking is money. The Bible says money answereth all things, but here's the problem with that. The love of money is the root of all evil. Are y'all listening to a brother right here? Because too many people are not saying what God told them to say because it might mess with their money. A lot of people say, well, Pastor, you know, it would be better as a shepherd not to touch on these issues because it may run people away. You want to be able to reach all people. I do reach all people, but not all people want to stay reached. Y'all ain't working with a brother. Not all people want to hear the truth. The Bible says you shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. But the Bible also says the time will come where people will not endure sound doctrine. They ain't trying to hear this. I ain't trying to hear that. I ain't trying to hear this. Leave me alone in my mess. Leave me alone in my junk. Listen, God said warning comes before destruction. How do we know that a watchman is to get the warning? You know how we know? Because the Bible tells us. The Bible says, surely the Lord will do nothing, but he revealed his secret unto the servants, the prophets. The New Living Translation says the sovereign Lord never does anything until he reveals his plans to his servants, the prophet. God will always give you a warning. Let me be real clear. You may be surprised, but God is never surprised. And if you're watching, God will warn you. You may be surprised. The world may be surprised. The people may be surprised, but God is never surprised. And if God is never surprised, I'm going to preach right there. And your eyes are on the Lord and your ears are sensitive to hear. The Bible says, he that hath an ear, let him hear what the Spirit is saying. I'm out of time to the church. If you have that sensitivity, if you have those ears open, those eyes open, then you will hear. But if you let money get in your way, if you let pride get in your way, you won't bark. But God called me to be a dog. And why are you doing this? Because dogs bark. And they bark to bring warning. They bark to give instruction. They bark to let you know you're on the wrong path. They bark to tell you that there's danger coming. They'll bark to say, you better watch yourself. I'm done. I am out of time. But listen, I need you all to subscribe to my podcast. Tell somebody about it. I do this 5 days a week. Just 5 minutes of inspiration, something that will get your day going. 5 minutes to live by. Subscribe at victoriouspraise.org/podcast. And remember, don't just live life, live a victorious life and have an amazing day. God bless you.